Hi everybody, welcome back. We're back. Sorry about taking the week off. It's been a crazy few days. So we're going to answer some questions this week, and we wanted to kind of give you some updates. You might be able to hear that I actually have been just under the weather. So there may be some stopping to edit out some coughing. And then this is the update that we wanted to show you. Bernice had some pretty major surgery, and we wanted to show you. She had surgery here on her knee. She had her CCL and meniscus operated on, and she's road to health. So we're going to answer some more questions that came through, and we appreciate everybody sending those along. So we'll get started.
So we had some questions. How do we take Bernice with us, either in France or on the airplane?
So that's, kind of a two-part question. So it's kind of a drawn-out process here, and we've kind of talked about it in previous videos, so I'll just give the short version. You have to have an international veterinarian, and the United States is pretty strict. So you make an appointment with your international veterinarian, and you have to affirm that you have all these requirements for your pet's health, and you get a certification, and that gets sent to you, and you bring that paperwork with you, and basically you just have it. Pretty much it's kind of only looked at slightly on the way to France, but it's very much looked at on your way back from France. And we buy her passage in the cabin, and she comes with us in this little backpack. And we jokingly say that she travels business class because it just flips this way and goes under the seat, and she lays down in it. And it's pretty comfortable for her. We just put her blanket underneath her, and
So the front, now it's a backpack as well.
yeah. So it just, we wear it. And this is kind of how she travels. This is her main way of getting around with us on the bicycles and pretty much everywhere we go. When she's not on her leash, we just kind of pop her in here, and she's super portable. So we love it because she just, we put her water and leash in these side pockets, and she can either kind of poke her head out this way or from one of the sides, and it works out really well. But this is an airplane approved one for Air France, and it just literally goes right under the seat in front of us. So that's what we do to take her. And in terms of when we are in France, we will often just zip that all the way closed. It's very breathable. So we just will walk in. We've taken her with us into almost everywhere. There's a few places, weirdly, where we haven't been able to take her. There was one, Brico, which is like a home improvement store, where they were adamant. I got a finger wagging and a very stern, "Hey, what are you doing?" En français, and we were asked to leave. And most grocery stores are not keen on having you take your pet in, although Michael is very like, he'll just always try, and then they either don't see her and it's fine, or they just ask him to leave. But pretty much everywhere else, they're very laid back. The French culture is very dog friendly. Trains, restaurants, I mean, Michelin star restaurants, any kind of sort of public venue, they're very much accepted. And
they bring her water.
Yeah, they're very, not only that, they've brought her like something to lay down on, and so it's very accepting and accommodating for pets.
Okay, question number 2. What type of work do we do to afford our lifestyle and house in France?
Okay, that's a funny question. So I think that this is kind of what makes us different, is that we don't we don't have a big chateau. Our house is, in both places, I feel like, is pretty modest. We have about maybe 1,200 square feet in both places. This place is about 1,300 square feet where we live here in California, and it's about that size or so in France. Our house in France is pretty rustic. It's a stone house. We don't have too much that's super fancy.
Well, we sold a big giant house.
We did. We had about a 4,000 square foot house that we had raised our kids in, and we were really grateful that we had it. They had moved home during COVID, and all of us were there for a time. We have two grown kiddos. One is a school teacher who lives close to us, and she was living with us. She moved home after she had graduated college, and our son just graduated college as well. And so he lives close by, and we kind of were in that limbo period of not needing this big house because we were sort of done, and we were super intentional. So we kind of had this vision, and when we sold that house and before we bought this little one, we said, okay, we know we have this sort of nest egg that we are going to set aside. And so when we went to purchase a house in France, we saved this much. We put aside 100,000,
Yeah.
and we said, that's it. We're going to stay within that budget, and so we knew that if we stayed in that budget, that the expenses we could carry month to month. So we just looked in that price range, and we were pretty strict. There are many homes, or I think there are getting to be fewer. The prices are coming up a little bit, but we're sort of frugal. We try to do all of the repairs and things pretty much ourselves, and the upkeep. So and we've
improvements.
yeah, and we've always done that.
Yeah.
But I'm a teacher. I have been a teacher this is my 24th year in education. I'm now sort of more of a teacher coach. So I'm sort of branching out into that. So I have a teacher schedule, which allows me the freedom to live in France in the summer. Michael, do you want to talk a little bit about what you do?
I'm an engineer, or retired engineer, and I retired specifically to take the summers off and spend it in France.
Mm-hmm.
So we basically have the summers off,
Yeah.
and other holidays as well that we try to make our way to France.
Yeah. So we're really lucky because I think we have enough, but we truly, we don't drive brand new cars, and we just
make it work.
We don't do anything to extravagance, and but the cost of living in France comparatively, well, again, we live in California, and I think that it depends on where you live in United States.
And in France.
But compared to California, to us, it seems like a very reasonable cost of living. So the taxes are very low to us, and the day-to-day expenses of food and electricity and phone, and they seem comparatively very reasonable.
Yeah,
so
much less.
we can afford it, and we budgeted for it. So So
Question number 3: do we rent out our Stonehouse?
we do not, and we intentionally did not want to.
I think the main rental season's when we're there. So, I mean, and we enjoy it, and it just feels better for us to just have our things there and be able to just go there with everything kind of set up for us.
Yeah, and to us, we just want to be able to, allow our family, if they happen to be visiting, to just go check on it for us. And
Yeah.
it's just nice to know that it's always there if they want to go and use it. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's just a family home, just us.
How did we search and find our little stone house?
Also, we can link that video as well. COVID really helped because we were dreaming all during that time, and there are many different helpful search sort of sites that you can use. I think there's some general popular ones.
The short answer
FrenchProperty.com.
is internet.
Internet, yes. FrenchProperty.com is a really good one. Green Acres is a really popular one. But truly, the best way to do it is to know the region and town that you want to.
We spent 6 weeks in
Yeah.
France figuring out the region
Yeah.
that we would like.
We did it budget wise too. So we sort of looked, where does your money go the furthest? And once you narrow that down, which hint, it's generally central and northern France and not really near any of the bigger cities. And then once you sort of get that figured out, you kind of can triangulate.
And then we just kind of got lucky
Yeah.
because
We got really lucky.
Found Andrew and we found a house that we liked.
Andrew is
And
Andrew Merchant, who is
real
a
estate agent.
very helpful real estate agent, and we did a question and answer with him. But you know, we sort of just go for it. That's sort of our personalities in general, and we just put out a bunch of emails asking if properties were available. We did plan a 6-week vacation where we were 2 weeks in different areas of the country, and so we happenstanced into this particular home in between a couple of the places that we were, and we went to see it, and we both sort of had the coup de fou, it's called in French. It's like a love at first sight.
Yeah.
But it was a very intense feeling of this is the right place, and we have not felt for a moment that was wrong.
Okay, question, what is this, number 5? Will we ever see how you live in California?
As a matter of fact, yes. Yes. So one of the cool things that we thought you would enjoy is that we do a couple of really lucky things. We have a family vineyard that we help out on. It is not ours. It belongs to our aunt, and she actually, fun prop. She actually is a grape grower, so a wine maker. No,
she's a
not
vintner.
maker. She's a vintner, not a winemaker.
Not a
But she grows Petit Syrah and Coppola, and it says Francis Ford Coppola Reserve Dessert Wine, and this is from her vineyard. So Michael helps out on her vineyard, and I help out occasionally, not as much as you do, because Michael's retired, so he goes up and he does the tractors and the disking, and it's a very beautiful area. About 2.5 hours away by car, but it's in the Sonoma area. If you know California, you know that that's a big wine producing area. And so he did some fun footage to show you some of the things that we do when we're here. So until we can go back to France, which is very soon, we are going to show you a little bit about some of the stuff that we do when we're here. We like to have adventures, so we sort of, Michael always says, we're not spectators. We kind of dive into all the crazy things.
We'll show some more adventures, and
Yeah.
I'll show some video that I took of the vineyard, and truly it's just tractor work. It's just tractor.
I mean, he says that, but I have to argue, because I do think that there's something truly inspiring about being at the vineyard. It's very beautiful.
Okay, next question. Mm-hmm. Do we have citizenship in France?
We do not. We are bound by the rules of Schengen, which is the area that is governed under the
European Union?
the European Union. It's called the Schengen zone, and it just basically means that for every 180 days, rolling 180 days, so it's a fluid 180, you can be there 90.
Without a
and
visa.
without a visa. So we pretty much, for what we do, and right now, while I'm still working, that works for us. Our plan, loosely, right now, is once I retire, we will apply to be there for a year. That's our plan. That won't be for at least a couple of years, probably more than that, but we don't really know, because we're both still happy and healthy and
Having fun, just
yeah. So, but I do really, really want to see, because I've seen it in most of the seasons now, except for the autumnal season. I'd love to see my garden come all the way to fruition. So I want to see the fall, and so we'd love to see, if we stay a year, would we want to stay two? And yeah, so we're not ruling that out. We do take French classes where we go every week to the Alliance Française here in our town, and we are, every week working to become fluent in French, and so that it's an option if we do want to become citizens.
Okay, next question. How do we get to Southwest France? And I already kind of talked
Oh,
about
yeah.
online and stuff a little bit about how we always go to Charles de Gaulle. But how do we get to Southwest France from Charles de Gaulle?
So where we are, or do you mean like when we?
Southwest France, where we are. I think that's what the question is.
So yeah, a lot of people refer to where we are as Southwest France. We're more central south. So we've done it a couple of different ways. We're sort of evolving as we live there longer. And I did see in the comments, people were like, wait a minute, how is it that you're there? And do you need a car? And I would say you do. I think if you're going to live there for any extended period of time, you sort of need, where we are at least, you need a car. Because we are a good, 25 kilometers from Limoges. So I think if you were going to just be near the little town, you really could sort of conceivably, especially if you like your bicycle, you could live there. I mean, you're 6 kilometers from the grocery store, so you could do it easily. But one of our purposes for having the house there is to travel Europe and to travel around France. And so we really enjoy the tourism part of it. So for us, we essentially go to Charles de Gaulle, and then we hop on the TGV. We go to Poitiers, which is toward the western coast, but not all the way to the coast. But it's the nearest TGV to us. Limoges has a train, but not a high-speed rail. So it's about a 2 hour and 50 minutes train ride to Poitiers. But what's nice is we pick up the rental car there, which is very convenient for us because we have to exchange our rental car every couple weeks, which is just a thing. My brother is an executive for a rental car company, so we get a really inexpensive deal, yeah, on a rental car. But we just have to bring it back every couple weeks. So
or we rent the car at Charles de Gaulle and drive, which is not as convenient.
Not as convenient, but it's about the same amount of time. So, but we enjoy driving in France. Well, you do most of the driving. Yeah. Michael does it.
So it's either by train to Poitiers and then rent a car, or it's renting a car at Charles de Gaulle and then just driving. So that's what we found to be really the most simple. All right, next question. How long does it take us to get used to California? In other words, it's that whole culture shock. And I always think it's kind of funny when we're here in California and somebody speaks Spanish and
we both do that. Yes.
We speak French back to them because it's a foreign language, and they say gracias, and I say merci.
De rien. We do that. Both of us do that. Yeah. So the culture shock was this time was pretty intense coming back
Yes.
after being there a couple of months. The pace at which people move here there's an intensity that, no judgment. It's just a lot more intense. There is a busyness here that is just not the same there. When I go to France, I decompress in a way that I just do not here, and it is a very addictive sort of feeling. So that's a really interesting culture shock. And then the traffic is, Paris traffic is Paris traffic, and it feels quite similar, although it still is really different. It's just there's just a different sort of norm, and
I call America kind of the me first society.
it's
And,
very
and France is kind of more,
we.
we collaborative. And
Yeah.
I don't know. And maybe it's
It's
just
just different.
rural France versus, city life in California.
Yeah, and we haven't been everywhere in France yet, so,
Yeah, so-
we could be misinformed or
It is
not
different,
there yet.
especially just the language barrier sometimes is comforting to be here in the United States because we speak the language.
Yes, and Mexican food.
Yeah.
Like when we come back, like we just
Yeah,
the Mexican food,
in California.
is pretty great. Mexican food in France, I'm sure. Well, in Paris, we did find decent Mexican food. In where we are in our little town, though, we have not yet found. Yeah,
Yeah.
some things are just not replicable there.
And there's some things that are definitely not replicable. Or it's similar here.
Yes.
Or it's we brought butter from France to
We
here
did.
because
Yeah, no shame in my game.
no, it's just
And we brought back they call it the field bread campagne. It's just the country bread, and there's just like their flour is just a different flour, and so the bread is just.
it's
has
all
a
part of the
different-
adventure though. That's what we
it's
kind of signed
amazing.
up for.
Yeah.
So all right. So somebody asked about the price range of the furniture in the brocante in Belloc, and I was like, I don't know.
Oh, so the actual furniture versus so I thought it was a little bit more than the Emmaus furniture. So, but nothing was more than like €300.
Yeah, they just depend on the piece. Some of them, I think I
Yeah.
saw some €100 pieces, some €50 pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, we bought that one really beautiful statue, or what is that called? Of the lady.
The bronze.
Yeah, the bronze statue, and it was what, 45 or
No, she was 75.
75 euros.
Euro,
So, and that seems pretty reasonable.
No, I mean the big wardrobes were 300. I'm just trying to remember the paintings. There were some paintings there that were closer to like 1,000.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting because not all of them were priced high. Like there were some oil paintings that were less than 100.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of like an interesting
And
mix.
there's some that were giant, and they were €3,000.
Yes, yes. Hmm.
So yeah, just
But I thought it was a very interesting mix, but it was by no means expensive. And truly, Belloc and was it Roland, the one that was near Kurt and Nicole's, near
don't remember.
Bordeaux. Those
Vintage,
two.
Yeah, the vintage.
Yes, the antiquity.
Yeah.
That one. Listen, if you're going to go to
Bordeaux,
vacation and you're going to be
Saint-Emilion.
make that 40-minute trip from Bordeaux to there, because it is 100% worth it.
Phenomenal,
It
yeah.
was just the chandeliers. There must have been 100 to 200 chandeliers, and they were all like within the €100 range. Yeah,
There's got to be like what, 30 different vendors in that.
More.
Yeah, because there's just all these little shops. They're just fantastic.
yeah. No, it wasn't very expensive. Those were not pricey at all.
Yeah.
No, but except for those butcher tables,
Yeah.
those were over 1,000, each of them. Yeah.
All right. So last question. People were asking. So was the TVG air conditioned?
The TGV was air conditioned,
Not really high air conditioning or super cold air conditioning, but
but
really
enough to
felt-
take the humidity out of the
it felt really good just
yes.
to get in the TVG. And,
Yeah, yes, the train. The trains in France are
really nice.
clean, and they have bathrooms, they have food cars, they, they smell great. They're, the dog is, welcome, and
They're on time.
yeah.
Most of the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
you have to be really careful because they're so on time that you kind of have to be.
Right. And just in general, the air conditioning in France is just not as, I don't know,
Prevalent. It's Europe.
Right,
That's Europe, though.
Yeah.
We here in the Sacramento Valley, we heard from our friends that they experienced some crazy number of 100+ degree days this summer. We had one day that was near, 100 degrees Fahrenheit in France.
Yeah.
One day. We were pretty much in the 70s most of the time.
Most of the summer.
Yeah, and it was beautiful weather.
It did get pretty hot in August, but
Yeah, but not bad. It was all, because of the stone. It was very
Stonehouse
nice.
stayed nice and cool.
Yep.
So,
Oh, someone did ask about the land, and it's set to close any day.
yeah.
We have not gotten the update other than it's supposed to be at the end of October. That's
And
all we know.
It's going through the safer process,
Yes.
which is essentially making sure that none of the farmers nearby want to buy it for agricultural purposes, right?
Right. This is totally normal, by the way.
It's 3 months.
Yeah, the French buying process, just in case anybody is thinking about it, I would strongly encourage anyone thinking about purchasing it, whether you're going to do a renovation or you're moving right in or you're buying land, whatever. Just know the average amount of time it takes is over 2 months, and so there are stories of people that it takes more than 6. So just it's
You're
just part of the
And it's just
the
part of the process. And, yeah, but we're happy we're getting the land behind us.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. So next week,
Yeah, so next
vineyard.
week we'll do, I guess, the vineyard video.
Yeah.
And we'll try to keep doing more videos.
Yeah, and if there's anything that you're particularly curious about here in California, let us know. We have some ideas of things we want to share. There will be a what are we bringing back now that we've lived there a little bit, and I'll give you a hint. Mexican food, flour tortillas, and peanut butter,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh, peanut butter. Yeah.
So those are some of the
But
top.
we
top
may
two.
not have as many videos, but we'll continue to post, and then once we get some more content,
Give us ideas. Yeah, give us
We'll
ideas.
definitely be posting a lot more videos from France. So thank you everyone for
Thanks for watching.
staying
for
with
staying
us.
with us.
And we'll hopefully keep you entertained.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.